Everybody, today I'd like to show a few options for sharpening a recurved blade using different sharpening tools. This is my go-to sharpening tool. I sharpen 90% of my knives using this Worksharp Precision Adjust, I think it's called. Don't quote me on that. But everyone knows what this is. There are tons of videos about how to use it. So the reason you don't want to use a flat stone on a recurved blade, let me use this plate to illustrate. If you were to run this plate, it would have 2 points of contact with the recurve, here and here. And that means it would be A, scraping too much material from the blade, and B, it would be damaging the edge of your stone, which is not desirable. So I came up with a couple different methods and they all work for me, and I'll illustrate here. So if my knife edge with a recurve is chipped or nicked, I use this rig here. This is 320 sandpaper. You can go a little rougher than that. And I attached it to that standard slider that holds the stones in the Worksharp. And all I do is, let me move. So, I'm sorry, this already is set up for the proper angle, but if you're not sure what the angle is on your blade, you've seen videos about this, you just mark it with a black marker and you see if your stone removes the marker paint off the blade. And again, there are tons of videos on how to do it. I just want you to show you that this little bit of curve here just gives it enough concavity or convexity on the stone, to match the recurve of the knife. It goes nice and softly, and you can get this blade pretty darn sharp. So let's see if the other side held the same angle. Let's try it on this side. Yep, as you can see, it's working great, working no worse than the actual stone. You'll have to replace sandpaper at some point. And so going from maybe 280, 320 to maybe 640 paper, you will get a reasonable burr. This is it's 20 CV, CPM 20 CV steel, and I believe Benchmade sharpens them to 60 Rockwell hardness. So on the one hand, it takes a little longer to sharpen this steel. On the other hand, it's a little more forgiving than softer steel, so you will end up removing actually less material. So right now I can feel the knife was pretty sharp to begin with. I'm not going to hammer the edge or do crazy stuff other YouTubers are doing. I'm just not trying to prove the point here. I'm just trying to share my experience. So where I go from there is I will not be using any of the stones on this tool. I'm just going to go straight from here to my other Worksharp tool, and these come in orange directly from Worksharp or in blue with the Benchmade markings. So either one will work. They're about the same tool. And as you can see, what I just did is rotated the ceramic rod. It's rounded, so when you run, unlike running the recurve on the flat stone, you will not be creating 2 points of contact. There'll be a single point of contact. And I'm using the rougher starter honing rod. That's what I call it. And I continue to bring this blade to the level of sharpness that I prefer. I don't count how many strokes I did on this side or that side. I prefer to test the edge with to see if there's a burr yet, or use my skin on my finger or on a nail to see if I'm getting there. When I feel that I got it pretty sharp, you don't need to switch any more tools. This particular tool has a stropping edge, and you just strop it like a normal knife. There's enough give in the leather that would allow you to not worry about recurve at all. Now, I also made for my other blades that are larger, perhaps, I made this stropping tool here out of an old trouser belt or something. So it's pretty nice thick leather, and this is just a 1-inch plywood. So as you can see, this side is curved. So I could have used this tool alone to do the same job that I did using the Worksharp. And to illustrate, you can do, when I use this tool, I prefer to go away from the edge, as you can see. And right now I'm not applying any pressure. By the way, the pressure you should be applying is equivalent to that of the ball pen on writing on a paper. It doesn't need to be softer or stronger. It's in the ballpark, no pun intended. So this is the tool that can solely use for the entire sharpening job. The only thing that and the reason I prefer the Worksharp, I like this crisp transition between my the blade primary grind and the sharpening bevel. So that's why I use the set angle system. It gives me a little crisper edge. And then so I finished by running a stroke here. I realized I didn't show you how to sharpen the tip on this knife. The tip is sharpened because it has a positive belly instead of a recurve. It sharpens just like any other knife with a positive belly, positive curve. So, or I would say it's akin to a tanto blade, because to do a proper job, you would reposition this from clamping it here somewhere to clamping it somewhere where your runner is properly oriented to the edge. Again, there are tons of sharpening videos out there, including tantos and such. So, why do I like recurved blades? I think they're awesome. I think you get a lot of extra edge, and they allow you to do a very solid, straight through push cuts. I also like this particular blade because, as you can see, it's very robust. They maintain oh, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you what knife it is. It's a Benchmade 496 Vector, and that's the second type. They discontinued this model. I think there are a few out there still lingering in the dealers' shops. You have to sort of find a dealer who has them, but Benchmade stopped shipping them a while ago. What I like about this blade is how robust the tip is, so it's a really good tool. I actually had to use it this morning to cut out a weed that was creeping up on the house and get down to the root, and I was not afraid to sort of push the knife where under the dirt, and not afraid of hitting something. I wasn't applying too much force, but this is a very robust tip. And so and that's why I decided to touch up the knife after doing this, because I was digging for that root. Anyway, the tip was very robust, and I like this secondary cutting point right here. So I don't know if I'm naming it properly, but think of it as like a seat belt cutting hook, but except it's not a hook. So if I bear it down on the material, let me illustrate. This is some kind of synthetic it has vinyl on the one side. Kind of reminds me of leather or skin of an animal. So it's smooth on this side and fluffy on that side. So if I want to slice through it, I can just place this point on here and it bites in nicely like so, and slices very well, and gives you that, more importantly than just biting in, it gives you this feel that you're still on a straight line. You can cut really nice straight line with this tip. It's similar to tanto knives, but with a tanto, you can, some tantos come with that secondary sort of tip. I think one of the very famous knife reviewers calls it a secondary tip, and I like this term, so thank you, Dave. Anyway, on not all tantos have that. This one is a flat grind, and it doesn't have a secondary sort of reinforced tip, but it does have that corner that can do the same job, but it's a little bit less positive of an engagement. Because it's so thin here, it's an advantage when you do slicing, but in this case I don't feel when it deviates from the straight line. So sorry, I think I digressed. By the way, today I'm celebrating a 10th subscriber to my channel. I really appreciate those 10 individuals. I'm pretty sure one of them is my girlfriend. So I do appreciate the other 9 individuals who subscribe to my channel, and you know, so I didn't prepare any giveaways for the 10th subscriber, but for the 1000th, maybe we'll think about it. I'm being sarcastic and imitating some other reviewers on the internet. All right, folks, have a good day.